Item Number SCP-7000 Security Level 1 Containment Class Safe. Disruption Class Dark. Risk Class Notice. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-7000 is allowed to freely roam the site whenever he's in this universe, but likes to stay in the cell. SCP-7000 is required to stay in the cell for sleeping from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. or during emergency lockdowns for his own safety. He is also to be fed every day at 8 a.m. and at 8 p.m. All personnel are allowed inside SCP-7000's holding area, but only if they are not assigned to other tasks at the time, or if they are on break. Personnel must talk to him nicely, as SCP-7000 gets his feelings hurt easily. Personnel should play with SCP-7000 gently. Description: SCP-7000 is a small bubble monster that weighs about 0.226796 kilograms, about 0.5 pounds. He feels a lot like soft rubber. SCP-7000 is about 10.5 inches in diameter. SCP-7000 looks like a translucent green ball, and he has two thin holes in the middle of his body that function as his nose. SCP-7000's mouth is a curved slit, about 1.2 inches below the nose. He has 3 elongated diamond shapes on both sides of his body. They start 1 inch away from the middle of SCP-7000's face and wrap around to the back, where they end 1 inch away from the middle of his back. From the front, they look like triangles. There are 1.5 inch diameter hemispheres on the top of his head, with eyes on the front. His eyes look like white circles, with the left one being blue and the right one being green. Described from looking at SCP-7000 from the front. If you look at SCP-7000's body, you can see blue and green bubbles inside of him. He has a black goatee on the bottom of his body. SCP-7000 gurgles and laughs to communicate. If he gets startled, he blows bubbles. He also blows bubbles when he's happy or sad. If he's startled in a good way or he's happy, he will blow blue bubbles. The blue bubbles have no anomalous properties. If they get into anyone's eyes, it will sting some, and SCP-7000 is seen to show signs of sorrow when this happens. If he's startled in a bad way or he's sad, he will blow green bubbles. If the green bubbles come into contact with human skin, they will cause an immediate rash. When SCP-7000 gets bored, he usually gets out of a cell and looks for people to play with. SCP-7000 has been observed to go to different realities every 1 to 2 months. If anything is touching him, it will go with SCP-7000 to the other reality, even sentient beings. Dr. Beep has found all the realities have alternate SCP foundations that have contained SCP-7000. There is a 1 in 6,350,832,000 chance to see SCP-7000 change realities. Dr. Beep has a method of calculating when SCP-7000 will change realities, which is how he studies them. SCP-7000 likes to visit realms that are more cartoon-like. He loves exploring the new kinds of scenery and creatures. In some of his favorites, physics such as gravity work a little differently, and he likes the new ways he can move and stretch. Plus, other creatures look funny or at least less intimidating. He also likes realms with a higher percentage of children or young creatures than adults. Their imaginations and innocence make them fun playmates for him. He doesn't like the ones without much life or beauty. They're boring or upsetting to him. In some absurd realms, seeing SCP-7000 is considered good luck because people get happier and learn good things about themselves when he laughs. If he is in the right mood and they happen to look just right out of the corner of their eyes, then they can see their wishes and dreams reflected in his blue bubbles in a way he imagines could come true. The experience is as if time stops and they get immersed in the happy story. When it passes, the memory is strong and can be very motivating and inspirational, so it's more likely for them to achieve their goals with positive results. However, he runs away and hides or goes home when hearing sad stories, so no one knows whether a related effect of bad luck occurs if you look at his green bubbles the same way. He enjoys celebrating good fortune that occurs around other good luck creatures and objects, but is sad of bad luck ones because his limited experience is that they make people sad, which causes him to blow anomalous green bubbles. SCP-7000 is very curious, and he likes to hug people by nudging them. He seems to be interested in everything, nudging it to see what it is. Even though he nudges a lot of objects, there are very few cases when he breaks any objects. He likes to paint by jumping on paint and then jumping on paper. He's very friendly. If he's treated in a bad way, he will get sad and go to the front right corner of a cell. He will then ignore anyone attempting to interact with him for the next 30 minutes unless they tell him it's his snack time or bedtime. It also seems that he has an internal clock. Around 7:55 a.m., 1:55 a.m., and 7:55 p.m. every day, he goes back to his containment cell, even if there are no clocks present where he is. SCP-7000 doesn't know how bad the world is. It is still a mystery what he'll think when he sees dangerous SCPs. SCP-7000 can bounce really high and comes down slowly. SCP-7000 is so light he can float on water. All of SCP-7000 organs seem to be in a pocket dimension that hasn't been discovered yet. This was found when one of the personnel looked inside his mouth to see what was inside. The pocket dimension looks like a room covered with the material SCP-7000 is made of, but not transparent. All the organs are connected and float in an unknown liquid. The organs are made of the material SCP-7000 is made of. Addendum SCP-7000-A. This addendum is an experiment where SCP-999 is exposed to SCP-7000 in the hopes that they will become playmates. SCP-7000 is allowed into the cross-testing cell. SCP-7000 starts blowing blue bubbles. SCP-999 comes towards SCP-7000 and hugs him. All researchers observing noticed that SCP-7000's goggles were mildly different to SCP-999's goggles. SCP-999 then started to tickle fight with SCP-7000. SCP-7000 starts blowing more blue bubbles. They continue tickle fighting for around 10 more minutes. SCP-106 containment breach alarm goes off. SCP-999 and SCP-7000 stop tickle fighting. SCP-999 then rushes out of the room off to stop SCP-106's containment breach. A D-Class enters the room and takes SCP-7000 out of the chamber and brings him back to his cell.